Hello and welcome to This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. On this week's presentation, we focus on the work of the MMA ADA. As you know, harvesting of the spring crop is about to begin. Some farmers have already started harvesting there in the west coast of Berbice, those farmers in the MMA scheme. And of course, they're smiling, happy in the knowledge that the work done by the MMA ADA through the interventions of the government of the day, led by the Ministry of Agriculture, dams and so on, canals, and all the necessary infrastructure in the MMA have all been upgraded, and of course they will have no problems getting their paddy out of the fields and into over to the mills. Alright, so on this program we focus on those interventions. We will hear from the Minister of Agriculture, and we will hear from the General Manager acting and some other players taking care of the direction of the MMA going forward. We will learn more after these messages. Region 5, West Berbice, is the largest single contributor to Guyana's rice production annually, with some 45% of national production. Region 5 is also the largest contributor of beef and other meats from animals reared on lands in that region. All lands in Region 5 fall under the purview of the Mahicum-Bicony-Abari Agricultural Development Authority, MMA ADA, an agency of the Ministry of Agriculture. In recognition of the importance of its role in the production levels of the region, the Ministry of Agriculture has been expanding millions on not only rehabilitating the neglected D&I structures and dams, but has been retooling the entity with millions in excavators and other equipment and tools for the work ahead. The completion of Phase 2 begins this year and has been catered for in the 2021 national budget. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa says the MMA is key to doubling rice production in 5 years. The future for agriculture in Guyana is exciting. Let's all play our part. A message from the MMA Ministry of Agriculture. The Guyana School of Agriculture, Guyana's premier institution for certificate and diploma education in agriculture, has opened its virtual learning platform to all students both in Guyana and abroad. 2-year programs now available are the Diploma in Animal Health and Veterinary Public Health, Diploma in Agriculture, and Diploma in Livestock Production and Health. The certificate program over 1 year are those offered in agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and agro-processing. Entrance requirements and other relevant information to get you started on your career in agriculture can be found on the GSA website gsa.edu.gy or email gsa.campus@gmail.com. The Guyana School of Agriculture, with its main campus at Monrepo, East Coast Demerara, and at Cottonfield, Essequibo. Let's get you started in the business of agriculture. In October 2016, the Kigali Amendment was adopted by all parties to the Montreal Protocol. This included Guyana. The Kigali Amendment brings the future production and the consumption of refrigeration gases under the Montreal Protocol through the phase-out of these ozone-depleting substances and their replacement with substances that are more environmentally friendly. To this end, the Hydromet Service has begun local preparations for Guyana's ratification and eventual compliance with the requirements of the Kigali Amendment. This will require legislative interventions, consultations with all stakeholders and the public at large about what changes will have to be made locally over the next few years. These consultations will begin shortly and will be advertised on all print and broadcast media platforms as well as on social media. For more information, visit the Hydromet website at hydromet.gov.gy. A message from the Hydromet Service, Ministry of Agriculture. For the first time in years, farmers of the MMA ADA are comfortable in the knowledge that getting their paddy from the fields to the mills for the spring harvest will not be a problem. This is due to the massive upgrades effected on the scheme by government through the Ministry of Agriculture. Upgrades that have seen almost all dams graded and canals cleaned throughout the scheme. According to Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, the upgrades to the scheme were funded through a $100 million injection of funds approved by Cabinet in August last year, a timely injection that saved the second crop 2020. He assured that the work started then will continue.
There people were talking about that they cannot able to continue planting there because the entire infrastructure were dilapidated, the canals were clogged, dams were impossible. Immediately we start to look at those areas and issues, and we were able to clean. I am happy to report it here today that we were able to clean almost all the canals. We have the dams in immaculate condition, and we have repaired a number of DNI structures. We plan to continue that. Hopefully we can have our program approved in the new budget, and we plan to continue those things to continue to rehabilitate critical infrastructure in the MMA scheme.
Key this year is the start of work and completion of the second phase of the scheme, the Abari to Maikoni block. This phase, when completed, will open up another 100,000 acres of lands for farmers. The Agriculture Minister, however, stressed that this time around, not only rice lands will be opened up, but also lands for cash crop and livestock farmers.
I am looking at this because we are having demands today from various sections across Region 5 for land. Cash crop farmers, rice farmers, mostly rice farmers, and also livestock farmers, cattle. And this demand is tremendous now, and I want, as Minister of Agriculture, that we have the land there. We need to create the facility. I am working, and the people in Region 5 and surrounding area can expect to see more land being taken up, more land being open. They will have more lands to improve their farming, increase their acreage of cultivation, and also have proper lands for cattle rearing and other livestock. Over the years, we have seen development in the rice sector, those lands that are under rice cultivation, but we have seen little help given to the cattle farmers and livestock farmers. So I'm looking for GLDA. GLDA is working closely with those farmers, and we'll be having, we'll looking to develop these pastures so that farmers, livestock farmers at least, can have proper facilities for their animals.
Minister Mustafa also disclosed that his ministry is looking to put systems in place to mitigate the long-standing disputes and conflicts between rice and the cattle farmers.
I'm looking at a zoning system. What we have done, and very shortly I will inaugurate that committee shortly. I have set up a dispute resolution committee. That committee will be responsible to settle dispute in the MMA scheme, especially, you know for a fact a number of legal matters are pending from that scheme in the courts. I have the former Chancellor who is heading that committee, Mr. Cecil Kennard, the former Commissioner of Land, Mr. Andrew Bishop, and have a representative on the Lands and Surveys Commission. The three persons, they will comprise the Dispute Resolution Committee, and I'm hoping that we can resolve the matter, and also looking at zoning, because we have to start now looking at zoning, put cattle one side from the rice and the other crops, so that we can have people plant in harmony rather than conflict, and you have these kind of conflict on a daily basis.
Budget 2021 provides $170 million to the MMA ADA, of which $60 million is for capital works. In the meantime, the MMA ADA has been working around the clock to ensure that all systems are in place for farmers for the start of harvest of the first crop 2021. Work on the main access dam, the first 5 kilometers of which is to be upgraded to an asphalted concrete farm-to-market road, has already begun, with the contractor grading the entire stretch in preparation for the second phase of that project. This is a $300 million project that was ceremoniously launched with the sod turning ceremony earlier this year. This project is one of 3 to be effected in Region 5 this year. Another major undertaking in terms of upgrades to main access roads in the MMA is this Fairweather Road, which leads from IR3, or the main canal, straight through to the Abari River. Manager of the MMA's engineering division, Mr. Navendra Raghu, explains the works ongoing here.
Where I'm standing here right now is the MMA, one of the MMA's all-weather road, linking starting from the MMA's main canal all the way to the Abari Creek. This road is about approximately 3 miles, and it benefits amount of farmers approximately that benefiting from approximately 5,000 acres of land, which will be benefiting from this road. What happened with this road? It went through a deplorable state for the past 3 to 4 years, I should say, and the MMA wasn't receiving funds in getting this road fixed to a state to allow the farmers to traverse freely, and as such we're now receiving funds from the government through the Ministry of Agriculture to have the road fixed and for the farmers to be able to traverse and access their farmlands.
At the Abari end of this road, we looked across at what is the area of the second phase of the MMA scheme, which Minister Mustafa has signalled work is to begin on its completion.
Standing on the eastern end of the Abari Creek, and this is where the phase 2 works of the MMA ADA actually begins. The phase 2 works will be within the boundary of the Abari Creek, going all the way to the Maikoni Creek, and it will open up a vast amount of land of approximately 90,000 acres of lands, whereby farmers will be benefiting to carry out their farming activities. Already the MMA is in preparation of formulating the designs for the drainage channels, irrigation channels, the drainage irrigation structures, as well as preparation for access dam, so as farmers could benefit from traversing and reaching to their farm to market lands. And this will entails over approximately 90,000 acres of farmlands that will be opened up within the phase 2 for the MMA ADA.
Clearing of the main irrigation canal in the MMA is also ongoing. This involves mechanical clearing of weeds that is constantly a threat to the free flow of irrigation water, Mr. Ragu explains.
We are standing on the western embankment of the main canal, and while we have some works are being done on the eastern end of the main canal, what we're doing is that we have a dragline machinery carrying out mechanical deweeding works in the main canal. The main canal is a 35 miles long channel which begins at the Abari Borbies Conservancy and ends at the IR4 structure in the rear of Prophet Village, West Coast Borbies. This main canal is very important in providing irrigation water for farmers to irrigate their lands to carry out their farming activities. The water from the main canal is being flooded into the secondary canals, which gives access for the farmers to have adequate waters to flood their lands for their farming activities. Now, similar activities are being done throughout the entire of the MMA scheme to ensure that farmers are provided with adequate irrigation water and also for drainage, so that they can have a better farming exercise in this forest crop of 2021.
The MMA Conservancy spans an area of 312 square miles. The length of the embankment is some 35 miles. The main irrigation canal runs for 37 miles. There are several water control structures. These are the spillway, the river control sluice, and 4 intermediate regulators that allow for the control of water to specific areas along West Berbice. An important aspect of maintaining this massive conservancy is keeping the channel clear from weeds and siltation, or being able to respond quickly to the emergencies, such as a breach to the conservancy dam. To this end, movement of machinery around the conservancy is crucial. This is the barge used to transport excavators to various parts of the conservancy to effect works over the years. The barge was neglected and as a result was almost inoperable. The old excavator that was in use became inoperable and has since been replaced. MMA General Manager Acting Mr. Mahendranath Ramjit explains the importance of this barge and excavator.
As you can see at the back here, we have a pontoon here. This pontoon over the years was deteriorated to a state, could not be used in the conservancy. And we had to spend close to $3 million to do some rehabilitation work on it. And in addition to that, the excavator that was working on it had some serious mechanical failure. We had to couldn't repair it because of the cost. So we had to purchase a new excavator worth $33 million. This is the excavator you see right at the back of me here. The work of this pontoon is to clear the spillway area where there's a lot of vegetation built up over times, and because we couldn't utilize the pontoon at the time, the vegetation was heavy and creating problem to discharge the conservancy water when the water is high in the rainy season in the conservancy. So basically, it's actually clear the barrow trench and the spillway, and any low spot on the dam, it tighten to avoid any threat of overtopping along the conservancy and affecting the residents in the villages and the farming area.
Keeping the burrow trench clear of weeds is critical to the free flow of water from the conservancy into the main canal of the scheme.
Without the barrow trench, clearing of the barrow trench, the water in the conservancy will be backed up and be raised and threaten the dam. So the barrow trench actually is a conveyance where the water travel and to the MCHR, which is the 8-door sluice, then into the main canal where it's about the main canal is a 35-mile long main canal, and the main canal there's a lot of secondary canals that the farmers receive the irrigation water from. So basically, without this pontoon in the conservancy, the water will not be able to reach to the farmers, because this is the barrow trench that takes the water to them, and this is the pontoon and excavator that have to clean it to make sure efficient flow in the irrigation system.
You have heard mention of the spillway. This is a fail-safe feature of the conservancy design that ensures that should there be any unusual rise in the level of water of the conservancy, the excess water will spill over this section, built specifically for this purpose, one that prevents flooding of farmlands and residential areas in the event of serious overtopping. Mr. Mohammed Rafiuddin is the Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors of the MMA. He explains for us the importance of this spillway.
This conservancy was conceptualized in the early 50s by the late Cherry Jagan, and this point cannot be overemphasized. It is something that is important for history and for all Guyanese to understand how these leaders, our leaders with vision, would think and for the future. And here today, we're having the Abari Conservancy. The Abari Conservancy is about over 300 square miles, the catchment area, while we have approximately 150 square miles under water, submerged. This conservancy serves well over 100,000 acres, and in Region 5, we're producing more than 50% of the paddy that this country exports, while we have cattle and other crops also benefit from this conservancy. This conservancy here have these structures. This is a 1 mile long spillway. So the purpose of this spillway is to, when the conservancy reaches the maximum capacity, which is 64 GD, it will spill and the water will go straight into the Berbice River. The Berbice River is approximately 2 miles from here. Over the past few months, you would have seen work that was done here recently. This was all clogged up, abandoned, and over the past few months, we were able, with the help of the government, Ministry of Agriculture, to get this conservancy clear. They would have expended huge sum of money, make available funds to the MMA so we can get all these areas clear. So in the event of an emergency, heavy rainfall, and we would have touched the maximum capacity level, then it's not going to cause any harm to anyone, crops, or any other areas in farming. While along these dams in the conservancy, you would have noticed the heightening of dams, repairs, and maintenance. That was done when we took office in August. We have started most of those work because we had a lot of these dams under in a bad shape, and we get right away to work. This government, we understand the importance of agriculture. We understand the role that agriculture plays in our economy. Therefore, we will continue to support farmers in whatever way, whether is the MMA Conservancy, the secondary canals, the secondary channels, and access, that we can able to improve not only production, but carry up productivity.
The MMA board executive also pointed out that oftentimes farmers and the public in general are unaware of the works that are continuously ongoing behind the scenes to ensure that irrigation services are uninterrupted, and so take it for granted.
That sometimes people in general, farmers and the general public, just feel this is the MMA Conservancy. There is no need for maintenance. There is no need to pay attention here. But if we would have abandoned the Conservancy, not maintaining, then what would have happened to farming in general? Not only rice, cattle, but other crops also. They all depends on fresh water. And this area is where the fresh water is being stored. And then from here, it gets all the way to the farmer's field. We have seen over the past years a little of that, or some of that, where the MMA scheme was neglected. And we would have seen these channels and canals and dams not maintained. And what was the negative impact? What was the negative impact of not maintaining? And the same thing goes for the Abari Conservancy. Therefore, at this point, I would like to take this opportunity to encourage farmers. While we are doing all this maintenance, government is making funds available to ensure that agriculture stay on top. Agriculture, we keep improving on what we're doing.
Mr. Rafiuddin, himself a farmer, urged all beneficiaries of the scheme to understand that while government does its part in ensuring that infrastructure for successful farming is upgraded and maintained, they too must honor their obligations in what can only be termed as a partnership.
I would like to call on our farmers also to partner with us, ensure their charges is being paid. This government, we would have reduced charges from 15,000 to 3,500, and in some cases lower than that in different areas. This is significant decrease of these charges. I'm asking farmers, as the vice chairman of the MMA, I would like to make this special appeal to all our farmers. You can see works that is ongoing in every single corner, every single area in the MMA. And right now we are here in the Conservancy showing you what we are doing. Then for us to continue with this program, we need your cooperation. This is a partnership, not between the government, the MMA, and the farmers. For us to achieve all of this, then we need you on board. We have a program that will be starting very soon, where we will be interacting with our farmers on the arrears owed to the MMA and how we can able to structure that payment. This government is committed. We are committed to work with farmers to ensure all areas that is necessary for us to work together. We will be working with you as from the MMA, and with the farmers, we'll work together as partners. So we will be able to, at the end of the day, we all will be happy, we all will support each other, and we all can make this country and the MMA a better place, not only for ourselves, but the future generation.
The MMA ADA has also put in a contingency measure that involved the excavation of this channel that links the Burrow Trench to a part of the Abari end of the conservancy known as the Berbice Hand. MMA's acting general manager explains.
The channel directly behind me, this is a channel which is called the link between the Burrow Trench and the Berbice Hand. This is a 3-mile length channel. This channel, during the El Nino period, its intention is to bring water from a vast lake within the conservancy here, which is a large body of water, and bring it straight to this Burrow Trench to enhance the flow during the El Nino season. As you can see, the condition of this, it has been clogged up, it has not been cleaned for years. This year program, we'll be commencing work on it to open it, so we will not, during any dry weather coming any season, we will get it active and clean, so water will be flowing efficiently to the Burrow Trench.
This here is the Berbice Hand, an area of the conservancy that is deepest and the last area to dry out during prolonged drought.
We are at the location where we call the Berbice Hand. If you could look at the body of water here, this is during the dry season or the El Nino period. This is where most of our water from the conservancy are tapped into to our Burrow Trench. As I explained earlier, the trench that link the Burrow Trench to the Berbice Hand. So this area is a vast volume of water and is mostly trapped in this area. So that channel that I explained earlier would be the link to tap into this bay or lake area.
Region 5, West Berbice, is the largest single contributor to Guyana's rice production annually, with some 45% of national production. Region 5 is also the largest contributor of beef and other meats from animals reared on lands in that region. All lands in Region 5 fall under the purview of the Mahicum-Mahaicony Abari Agricultural Development Authority, MMA ADA, an agency of the Ministry of Agriculture. In recognition of the importance of its role in the production levels of the region, the Ministry of Agriculture has been expending millions on not only rehabilitating the neglected D&I structures and dams, but has been retooling the entity with millions in excavators and other equipment and tools for the work ahead. The completion of Phase 2 begins this year and has been catered for in the 2021 national budget. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa says the MMA is key to doubling rice production in 5 years. The future for agriculture in Guyana is exciting. Let's all play our part. A message from the MMA Ministry of Agriculture. The Guyana School of Agriculture, Guyana's premier institution for certificate and diploma education in agriculture, has opened its virtual learning platform to all students both in Guyana and abroad. 2-year programs now available are the Diploma in Animal Health and Veterinary Public Health, Diploma in Agriculture. The certificate program over 1 year are those offered in agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and agro-processing. Entrance requirements and other relevant information to get you started on your career in agriculture can be found on the GSA website, gsa.edu.gy, or email gsa.campus@gmail.com. The Guyana School of Agriculture, with its main campus at Monrepo, East Coast Demerara, and at Cottonfield, Essequibo. Let's get you started in the business of agriculture. The Mahaica Abari Rice Development Scheme, MARDS, has had some $200 million in upgrades to dams and all D&I structures over the past few months. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has signaled that millions more will be spent on further developments in the scheme as catered for in the 2021 national budget. A new administrative building that will also serve as a training facility for farmers will be constructed this year. A new paddy drying floor is to be constructed in place of the current one in use. A new 5 km asphalted concrete farm-to-market road is also to be built this year in the scheme. The plan is to ensure that farmers of the scheme are provided with all that is required for them to realize the full yield potential of their rice or cash crops being cultivated. The Ministry of Agriculture and the management of MARDS urges all lessees in the scheme to honor their financial obligations to the scheme and pay their land rentals and D&I charges in a timely manner. A message from MARDS, Ministry of Agriculture. Well, that's all the time we have in this week's presentation of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. This Week in Agriculture is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and Advertising based in East Berbice. I'm Christopher Holder. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.